Right, so we're back in for another back session. And I said this on the Train by JP forum this morning, is that I'm sure people know my workouts, my splits inside out now, but people seem to still appreciate watching them and stuff. So the setup, I think, is probably the same as last time. The only difference now is doing a wee bit more in terms of volume. So rather than one working set, we're doing two for, say, T-bar row. We're doing a work in and a back off. And then for dumbbell row, we're doing two for that as well. I still don't feel it's time to add in any intensifiers or any more volume. At this moment in time, everything's kind of growing. So there's no need to add more volume where we don't need to add more volume. So it's a tool we can use down the line with whenever we come against kind of stagnation with the physique. So that's when we'll put in more in the way of intensifiers and volume at that point. In terms of the off season, so it's been a month since we've done the last one. Probably up to 3 to 5 pounds, something like that. So I was sitting at just under 273 last Saturday, and yeah, I'm really happy with how things are looking. So is Nick. So I don't think I've had this many compliments off Nick before. Usually he's just a man of few words, but both very happy with how the physique's looking. It just seems to be kind of just growing without much in the way of too much stimulus across the board, training, supplements, food. We're in a kind of good place where we're not kind of overdoing anything, and the physique seems to kind of just be continually getting rounder, fuller, bigger, stronger. So I've never been this lean this far post-show. I think we're 17 weeks post-show, 16 weeks, 17 weeks post-show tomorrow. So to still be, what am I? So I was 273, I was 255 on stage, so what's that? 18 pounds. 18 pounds in 16 weeks I'll take, which is definitely not the norm for me. So very happy with that. Anything else to report since? I don't think so. I think it took me a while mentally to get into this off season. I thought I'd be straight out the gates, but as soon as I pretty much started, I spent a week in Liverpool, got food poisoning in Liverpool, and then there's been shows each weekend, and then I've had colds. I think I had COVID at one point as well. So the first 3 weeks of the off season weren't 100%, but they also weren't zero. So, you know, even with food poisoning, I still trained, still ate all meals and stuff like that. So I don't actually know if I had COVID, but it's pretty sure it was. But yeah, it's one of those ones where, see, when I'm not 100% in my routine, like getting up at the same time, eating the same times, I feel like I'm not 100%, when in reality, I am. You know, I'm still getting my training sessions in. The calories for the day are still the same. They're just all over the place. So for the first 3 weeks, I kind of felt a wee bit about myself, whereas now, far more settled now. Routine is far better. I was getting really ill-disciplined with my sleep. So I'd be on my phone in my bed for 2 hours. So I'd get 5 hours sleep most nights. Now it's like 8 hours, turn the phone off, straight to bed. So different setup. So other than that, we've just been, first food increase of the off season was last week. So we put in another salmon fillet in. So that brought the calories up to 5.6, rest day calories at 5.4, which is still not even close to where I was peak off season last time. But again, we're not having to use that tool yet. When we do need to increase food, there's plenty of room to play with. Rather than that was the whole process of reversing out the shows, so that we don't have to go straight up to 5,000, and then we've then got a year of off season where we don't have any tools to play with. So that was kind of the thought process there, and obviously being a lot leaner and all that as well. So, but yeah, finally in my flow now, and this will probably be me until next April. So, and then end of April, we'll decide if it's time to prep or not. If Nick and I feel that we need another year off, I'll take another year off. I'd rather not, but literally a different league we're in now. You know, we're in with mutants and genetic elite, so we need to kind of make every second count. And if I need more time, I need more time. So anyway, enjoy. So we're still obviously logging everything and trying to progress strength and, you know, our technique, try to refine that, try to refine the rep, make everything better. I'm not hell-bent on the logbook. Getting to the stage now where if I was, I'm gaining a rep, half a rep, which again, yeah, is progress, but now I feel that I'm at that point where I'm just trying to refine everything in terms of the movement, the quality of the movement, the quality of the pump, the quality of the negative, positive, everything's trying to just be that little bit better. So I've got notes on my phone, like for instance, the T-bar row. I put a note last week saying just a little bit more in the way of stretch because I think I was kind of just holding back a wee bit on the stretch. So wee things like that, you know, it's not constantly weight and reps, it's the quality as well. And one aspect I feel has been left out is the pump. People say, oh, if you train correctly, you should get a pump regardless. I don't really agree with that. The pump of doing a 6-rep set is not the same as doing a 20-rep set. So, yeah, kind of don't agree with that one. But pump quality, blood flow quality is definitely high up there. So, recording that as well, just taking notes. It's funny how I'm not anywhere near my heaviest. So, like I said in the intro there, 273, just 30 pounds less than the heaviest I've ever been. But I'm breathing out my arse already. That's what I hate about off-season is the constant like heavy breathing and just feeling like a whale. So we're going to do one working set, which is the same setup that we've had for quite a while now. 8 to 12. And as we can see, Chris isn't here, so usually we do maybe 1 or 2 force reps, and he gives me a negative as well. But today, obviously, we don't have that. So what I'll try and do is just maybe rinse a few partial reps if I can. The lat pull down's not really the best exercise to do partial reps with, because at the top, it's not really your back, and the bottom, well, you can't really get to the bottom, but the bottom's kind of all biceps. So I got 115 last week for 11. So it's probably, I felt really, really strong this week as well. So I think it's probably time to push that up to 120. Just kind of see how that feels. Handle-wise, we were doing this last time, I think the close grip, kind of don't really stray away from that one anymore. I think I said that in the last video. Sometimes I get caught up with, I don't really think I'm a kind of guy that follows trends, but sometimes I get caught up with like the new handle that everyone's using. Realise it's a lot of shite and I just go back to this one. So go with what's comfortable, not what's popular. So do one working set of 8 to 12, and then a back off 12-15. So I think that's the difference from the last back session we done, is we added in a back off set. I kind of went purely off by feel. Recovery seems to be relatively good, and I was leaving the session taxed, but when you've been training for 16 years, you kind of know when you've left a wee bit of the tank. So we put the back off set in a while ago. You know, that's the way you kind of should approach it, is go by feel. More experienced lifters, guys who've been lifting for 10 plus years, like some of them don't need a training plan. They don't need direction in that sense. They're more than capable of just running sessions off how they feel. Granted, that's not ideal for people who are relatively new, people who are looking to make drastic amounts of progress in terms of, you know, logbooking, progressive overload. There definitely is a need there for the structure and the plan, but you get to a point where you are just training off by feel. I like having structure just because I'm so OCD. I don't think mentally I could come in and just do what I felt that day, but I can still go off feel. For instance, like today, if that didn't feel right, or I felt overly gassed, then I wouldn't do a back off set. That's kind of how we approach it. And, you know, the logbook and the training plan, like I said, it's good to follow, but it shouldn't be gospel. If a client says to me on their check-in, look, I didn't do this because of X reason, I'm like, that's fine. If you felt there wasn't the time to do that, then don't do that. Obviously, if it's chronic and they're deliberately leaving stuff out, like clusters and, you know, the stuff that makes sets absolutely brutal, then you're cheating yourself. But if you come into the gym one day, things didn't feel quite right, didn't quite fire, pull back a wee bit, and then vice versa. If it feels, if you feel like you've got a lot to give that day, then give a lot. It's that easy at the end of the day, so. The first time you filmed the belt, see the coat of arms, they've never actually had to put that on a belt before. It's an American company. Yeah. And they were like, oh, the embroiderer needs to learn how to do it. Yeah. And so it's gonna cost you an extra $150. I was like, fantastic, brilliant. So, done a good job though. Right, so chest supported T-bar. So I'm sure a few people will ask why I do conventional T-bar and then a chest supported T-bar. Number one, it's a 1-2. Number two, if we're gonna really go into it, the angle that I'm pulling at for there, I feel a lot in my lower lat, in the lat region. For chest supported T-bar, upper back, traps, that's where I feel this particular one more. So, for instance, like I said, neutral handle for the conventional, and then we're going to do pronated grip for the chest supported. So just hitting different areas of the back. So that's why I do it. And also, just going from that, a lot of lower back loading. There's no lower back loading on this. And then I'll go to dumbbell row, which, yeah, it's a free weight row, but I don't particularly feel it in my back ever. So, and then we go into deadlifts. So that's kind of how I'm programming just now. I get a good bit of lower back from that, ease off, allow the lower back to recover, chest supported, and then finish off the session after that. So just one working set here of 8 to 12. Just the usual here, you've probably seen it a million times, single arm dumbbell row. We increase the volume again, as we did with the T-bar, up to 2 sets, so 8 to 12 with this. Feeling dead strong with it. So usually, peak off season, I can probably do the hundreds, like 2 sets of 15. Maybe the quality isn't the best, but I think I've said before, is that I like being explosive for this. I feel it in my back being explosive, so it doesn't bother me at all. So we'll see how this feels. I think that's it. So, as always, deadlifts to finish. And just in case you're new to the channel, the reason why I finish with deadlifts is because I want to prioritize my rowing movements, my pull down movements, rather than working my lower back, my hamstrings. Yes, the deadlift does build your back, and that's why we still do it, but it's not a priority in the back session. The priority is the movements I've just described there. So I think, I personally don't feel there's much missing from my back other than rear delts. So clearly what I think was right in the past, I mean, the deadlifts at the end forever, but just say 12 years has worked. So I'm gonna keep doing that, keep running it. And we all love to try different things and keep things fresh, but as I said before, I keep coming back to the same exercises all the time. It's always come back to the T-bar row, always come back to the dumbbell row, and I always end up doing deadlifts last. No matter how much I tweak my sessions, no matter how big or short the session is, I'm always prioritizing those movements. And again, they're fun for me. I love dumbbell rowing the most. They're fun and I get a lot of progress out of them. So why change it? Why change it for something that's maybe inferior? I'm not saying everything is, but maybe there is an exercise out there I've not been doing that is maybe better for my back, but I'm very happy with my back development. I've said this before in videos as well, is that I'm actually very happy with my physique and what I am. It just so happens that I now have to compete at a higher level, so I need to demand more from the physique. I need to be bigger, rounder, fuller. But you know, if I was doing this just say recreationally, I'd actually be very, very happy where I've managed to bring my physique to. So it's just purely now out of competition, out of trying to be as good as I possibly can on stage rather than vanity at the end of the day. So that's nothing to do with deadlifts. Tangent, that one.
Think I come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting on the river with an ace. Gotta move real careful, we coming surveying the place. I touch down in your city, that's a rival. Y'all got one thing on your mind, it's survival. But if you wanna take a shot at the title, call the medic, we checking your vitals. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, this is my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, and this is my prime. Let me tell them one time.
Right guys, that's back wrapped up for the week, and a great week of training as well. So training's definitely kind of taken a huge leap forward the past 2 weeks. Like I said at the beginning there, was getting my routine sorted, my sleep discipline back in order. Everything seems to be falling back into place now. So great session there. As I was saying to Craig there, is that when I tend to have a leg session that is like through the roof, my my lower back loading or my hinge tends to suffer on a back day. So on Tuesday, I added an extra 20 kilo to my squat. It just felt good at the time, just warming up. I was like, yeah, I think we're going to take legs to a new level today. So we did that, and then lower back's obviously going to be a wee bit fatigued and fried from that. But it doesn't mean we don't do deadlifts. You know, we just kind of accept that if there is going to be a drop in performance on the deadlift, then we kind of have accounted for that in the leg session, in the squats. So it all kind of balances, it all makes sense. So I don't get too hung up in it. And I think, as I was saying at the beginning there, going off feel, I've not really got that emotional attachment to numbers anymore in the logbook, which is good. Whereas, you know, 5+ years ago, I definitely did. And, you know, you'd be rating the session quality and the session success off the back of the numbers in a logbook, which isn't always a good thing. So long as you're coming in not thinking, I'm going to beat myself in some way, that's the main thing. But like when clients come to me and say, I didn't do this, didn't do that, it's like, it's totally fine. You know, we can't expect to always be 100% every single time we walk into the gym. So that gives you a wee bit indicator as to kind of how things can shift. But no, still an excellent back session. And like I said, training's been phenomenal this week as well. So checking in with Nick tomorrow. So I check in on a Saturday morning. I like finishing my week with like a summary of how my week's gone rather than starting the week with a check-in. So in the off season, I only need to touch base with Nick once a week, and that's more than enough. I've probably said before, I think I say that every 2 seconds. I think I've said before, I don't need coddled. I'm quite independent. So long as I know that I'm moving in the right direction, have Nick to give me that second pair of eyes, I'm usually good. I don't need Nick to send me, you know, a ton of motivational stuff or anything like that. I just need him to, you know, agree or disagree with what I think I should be doing and get his input on things. And he's the only voice that I listen to officially. You know, there's obviously a few people I like their opinion, but when it comes to decision making, it's only Nick that I listen to. So other than that, all good. So I think we're just well in the midst of the off season now. Definitely Groundhog Day when it comes to just ticking boxes each day. I know that's cliche, but it's true. You know, we're going into, you know, the latter half of the year. I want to kind of sign off 2024 in a good way. You know, it's been an excellent year. I've been obviously blessed with the pro card win finally. Physique's taken a new level, even in the short space of time that I've been in the off season. And yeah, stepped into a new realm, which is obviously the pro league. So different mindset going into 2025. Like I said, if we can make enough ground by the end of April, then we'll definitely compete in September, October, November next year. If not, we just take 2025 off as well. Probably do some sort of diet at some point next year. It just depends on where the body lands at the end of the day. And like I said, you know, I want to stay a lot leaner now going forward in my career. I've done the whole getting like really fat. I've done all that in the past, and it's I don't want to be taking off 50 pounds in a prep, 50+ pounds sometimes in a prep. I want to, you know, do a diet where I keep my fullness, my shape. I need my shape through my chest and my shoulders, and if I diet too hard or for too long, I tend to lose them. So that's something to keep in mind. So anyway, guys, cheers for getting this far through this session, through the video. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that social media stuff. Cheers.